What's up, everybody? It is Izzy. We're back again with another episode of the Q&A here. I'm sorry for the audio quality on this. I was stuck at the gym, so I did the whole Q&A at the gym. So you're going to hear some clanging and banging in the background as we answer some questions. When should you do cardio as to not impede strength or hypertrophy adaptations? Well, if we're talking about what's optimal, you want to do it as far away as possible from your training. So like in an ideal scenario, you do one in the morning and one at night. However, back in the real world where people have jobs and social lives and all of that, adherence is going to be more important than the actual distance in terms of time. If the only time that you can do your cardio and you need to be doing cardio for whatever reason is right after you do your weightlifting, then you do your cardio right after your weightlifting. I would try to get at least 1 or 2 meals in between if you're going for optimal. How did you learn about financial stuff? I gained financial literacy the same way that anybody who has it has gained it, which is I educated myself through reading books. Believe it or not, the books about finances and how to manage your money are exponentially better than strength training books. So I'm sure you're going to want a specific book recommendation, and I've recommended the same book about 1 million times on this Q&A. Every time someone asks me a money question, it's not going to give you all the answers, but it's going to give you a place to start so that you know the right questions to ask to get the next set of answers. And that book is called Master the Money Game by Tony Robbins. So give that a read, and you should be able to start asking better questions from there to get to your next book. Is mind-muscle connection as important as progressive overload? Of course not. It's not even remotely as close. Like imagine that you worked your bench press up to 495 for 5 or 220 kilos for 5. Is there any way that your pressing muscles are small? No. And it doesn't matter if you didn't feel it in the chest or the shoulders or the triceps. Something is going to get huge. Where mind-muscle connection can really start to matter is if you have a lagging muscle group as an advanced athlete. Only as an advanced athlete. Because you're going to need to make sure that the tension goes to the right place. Otherwise, more well-developed muscles are simply going to take over. Now, beginners and intermediates hear this and think it applies to them, but it absolutely doesn't, because you can still grow from just about anything. Have you ever gotten a tricep or chest pump from doing lat prayers going above 120 degrees of humeral elevation? Yes, I have. Personally, I get just as big of a long head tricep pump as a lat pump, depending on my technique when going to that high degrees of humeral elevation. And if you believe in such things, that is exactly what would be predicted by the model of neuromechanical matching, because pec minor and the long head of the triceps have better leverage than the lats at those degrees of humeral elevation. Is it useful to rotate in more stable exercises when you're cutting and rotate in less stable exercises when you are massing? No. In my opinion, that only makes sense if you are getting exotically lean and preparing yourself for a bodybuilding contest. For the average hobbyist lifter who's just going from maybe a little chubby to kind of lean, it doesn't make a big difference at all. And you could realistically stick with more stable exercises all the time for hypertrophy if you really wanted. Did you buy a kabuki transformer bar? I've never used one, so I don't really get the hype. If I was in the market for such a thing, I would probably get the Bells of Steel safety squat bar, as a lot of people I trust rave about the quality of that one, and it does everything I'd want it to do. You mentioned wanting to do some experiments with new clients. Have you learned anything? Yes, what I have learned is that I am not some freakish anomaly that benefits from the lowest of low volumes compared to everybody else. There seems to be a lot of people who are just like me who benefit from lower volumes, so long as 3+ minute rest periods are used, including the person asking this question. We have seen gains with as little as 1 set per exercise, especially on pure hypertrophy work. So I've learned that many people can train like me and still gain. Have you ever tried or implemented beef liver in your diet? No, I don't bother with supposed superfoods and things like that, because I directly track my micronutrients on Chronometer, and I make sure that I'm getting the pillars, especially electrolytes, magnesium, calcium, potassium, and sodium. So I just don't need to worry about some hidden magical benefits from a superfood like liver, and I think liver tastes like shit. So there's that for you. Use Chronometer. Sorry if this has already been covered, but how long on average does your full body routine take? Well, keep in mind that I do not rush at all because my schedule allows for that, but it usually takes 3 hours. And you also have to keep in mind I'm pretty strong and I do a lot of warming up, especially on days where I'm squatting or deadlifting. Like I might be doing 7 or 8 warm-up sets for those exercises, but roughly 3 hours is how long it takes me. You could definitely do it faster. How many sizes up should I get in a knee sleeve if I want it to be loose and offer minimal assistance? Probably none. Unless it's a powerlifting sleeve like an Inzer, just get the normal size and it's not going to offer any assistance at all. Can JP's training methods be effective for powerlifting? Well, I mean, look at me, man. I don't even train for powerlifting, and right now, if I peaked for a meet, I think I could probably do something like 700, 450, 750, 1900-ish, and that would put me probably like in, I'd have to double check on open powerlifting, but probably like a top 5,000 total of all time. So it can be effective, yes, but is it efficient? No. And the reason for that is when you train to failure with very low volumes, which can still be very effective for hypertrophy, and of course, if you get bigger, you get stronger. The problem is this is not going to maximize your body weight to strength ratio because there isn't enough neural and technique work. Powerlifting is not a one attribute sport like bodybuilding, where you're just trying to increase muscle mass. You also have neural efficiency and technique as ways that you can get better. And here's the bottom line about failure training. While it may be just as effective, potentially more effective for hypertrophy than submaximal training, especially in advanced lifters, it inarguably causes longer recovery times and decreases the frequency at which you can use appreciable work weights on muscle groups. If you want to be a powerlifter, higher frequency submax training is the way to go. Alrighty, folks, that is it for today's Q&A. I will be back on Thursday night, but maybe I'll push it to Friday night if I feel like my pec is going to be able to actually train on Friday, but not on Thursday. But most likely I'll be back on Thursday, and I won't be doing any compound pressing just like today. However, it won't be a light lower body day, so I'll be deadlifting, and I'm either going to do 625 or 635 for reps. So that should be fun. I anticipate being able to set an all-time PR in that session. So I guess let's do the ads. If you like the Q&A, please like the video on YouTube when it comes out, or leave a comment for the algorithm. If you'd like to become a more substantial supporter of the Q&A, you can do so on Patreon for $1 a month. If you'd like to work with me directly or check out any of my ebooks, go to my bio on Instagram, send me a DM on Instagram for fastest reply. Or if you're on YouTube, check the description box for my email and links to my ebooks. So until Thursday or maybe Friday, I'll see you folks. Have a good one. Peace.